Hello, good evening friends. Today in this video we are going to discuss why was 26th of January chosen as India's Republic Day since 1950. The Indian Constitution was adopted officially on 26th of November 1949 by the Constituent Assembly, but 26th of January 1950 was chosen as a day it would come into effect. Let's discuss why it is so. We celebrate 26th of January as India's Republic Day since 1950. The Constitution was adopted officially by Constituent Assembly on 26th of November 1949. Then why do we celebrate our Republic Day on 26th of January? 26th of January, the answer lies in the history of Indian freedom struggle. During the Indian freedom struggle, the 26th January held significance since 1930. The historic Poorna Swaraj Declaration was officially promulgated on 26th of January 1930. It was the beginning of the final phase of the India's freedom struggle. The goal of the Poorna Swaraj Declaration was the complete independence from the British rule. So before understanding why 26th of January chosen as India's Republic Day, we need to understand what was the context of 1920s. The non-cooperation movement ended unceremoniously. Unceremoniously means people were not happy. People were not happy. It was not a ceremony. The non-cooperation movement ended unceremoniously on February 20, 1922 after Chauri Chaura incident. Mahatma Gandhi at that time thought or felt that the country was not yet ready for his non-violent methods of protest. Thus, 1920s did not see any further mobilization at the scale that was seen during the non-cooperation movement and the anti-roulette satyagraha. But then also, 1920s were very significant. There was a rise of revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh and Chandrasekhar Azad. The second point, the coming of the age of the new generation of INC, that is Indian National Congress leaders such as Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose and Vallabhbhai Patel and C. Rajagopalachari. All these collectively laid the ground for the future course of India's freedom struggle during 1920s. In 1927, British authorities appointed Simon Commission. It was a team of 7 members under the Sir John Simon. The aim of the commission was to deliberate on political reforms. Deliberate means discuss the political reforms in India. But all the members included were all Europeans. This act of the British authorities sent a wave of outrage and discontent across the country. For the first time since 1922, protest against the government or the Simon Commission spread nationwide. The chants of Simon go back were echoing across the country. In response, INC, that is Indian National Congress, appointed its own commission under Motilal Nehru. This commission presented a report which is known as Nehru Report. The Nehru Report demanded that India to be granted dominion status within the British Empire. So what is this dominion status? This dominion status was defined in the Balfour Declaration. So what is this dominion status? It is an autonomous community within the British Empire, equal in status, in no way subordinate to one another in any aspect of their domestic or external affairs, though united by the common allegiance to the crown and freely associated as a members of the British Commonwealth nation. So this is what the Balfour Declaration, and this is the definition of dominion status. In 1927, countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand were granted dominion status. So within the Congress also there was a disagreement whether we want a dominion status or Republic India. So dominion or republic, internal disagreement within the Congress. Crucially, even within the Congress, the Nehru report did not enjoy universal support. Did not enjoy universal support means all of the members are accepting the report, but the Nehru report did not enjoy universal support. Young leaders like Bose and Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, as we know, Jawaharlal Nehru was Motilal Nehru's own son. So Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru were wanted India to break all ties with the British Empire. They argued that under the dominion status, while India would enjoy a certain level of autonomy, but the British Parliament and Crown would still have ability to meddle in the Indian affairs. So still have ability to meddle in the Indian affairs. Importantly, for both Bose, that means Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru, attaining dominion status would make India party to colonial exploitation elsewhere in the British Empire, mainly in Africa, with a far more radical worldview than their predecessors. Bose and Nehru looked at the anti-colonialism not only as a local political issue for India, but in more global lens. So worldview means they were educated. Nehru and Bose both were well educated. So they were having more radical view than their predecessors. With a far more radical worldview than their predecessors, Bose and Nehru looked at the anti-colonialism not only as a local political issue for India, but in a more global lens. However, Mahatma Gandhi was still very much dominion status. However, Mahatma Gandhi was still very much for the dominion status, arguing that it would be a welcome step in India's anti-national struggle. His views would soon change. Viceroy Irvine goes back on his word. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? He didn't keep his promise. Viceroy Irvine goes back on his word. In 1929, Viceroy Irvine had vaguely, it was not officially. So in 1929, Viceroy Irvine had vaguely announced that India would be granted dominion status in the future, known as Irvine Declaration. It was warmly welcomed by Indians but faced massive backlash back in Britain. The British population was still pro-empire. The India was seen as the empire's crown jewel. Importantly, as world economy went into recession. Why it was went into recession? Because of World War I and World War II. Importantly, as the world economy went into recession, India was arguably Britain's most valuable colony, with its vast land, resources and population crucial for its economy. Thus, under pressure back from home means from Britain, the Irvine went back on his word in a meeting with Mahatma Gandhi and Muslim League's Muhammad Ali Jinnah and few other leaders. He said that he could not promise India dominion status anytime soon. This would be a turning point as the Congress grew increasingly united on the issue, with the British unable to follow through and even reasonable reforms. They were not ready to do even reasonable reforms. So with the British unable to follow through on even reasonable reforms, Indians supported increasingly radical goals, a fully independent republic being one of the first. So, Declaration of Poorna Swaraj happened. The Lahore session of the INC, that means Indian National Congress, the Lahore session of Indian National Congress convened in December 1929. 19th of December, on 19th of December, the historic Poorna Swaraj resolution was passed in the session. Poorna Swaraj literally means total self-rule or sovereignty. This resolution read, the British government in India has not only deprived Indian people of their freedom but has based itself on exploitation of the masses and has ruined Indian economy politically, culturally and spiritually. Therefore, India must sever the British connection. Sever means break. India must sever the British connection and attain Poorna Swaraj or complete independence. This declaration of the independence was officially promulgated on 26th of January 1930. The Congress urged Indians to come out and celebrate independence on that day. The Indian tricolor were hosted across the country by the Congress party workers and patriotic songs were sung as the country reconfirmed its strategy for independence. This resolution also contain in it an affirmation to Gandhian methods of non-violent protest. So this is very important. This resolution, Poorna Swaraj resolution, was contained in it an affirmation to Gandhian methods of non-violent protest, which would start almost immediately after the Poorna Swaraj Day was celebrated. Historian Mithi Mukherjee, in her book India Under Shadows of Endeavour, writes that the Poorna Swaraj Declaration was a critical pivotal point. Poorna Swaraj Declaration was a critical pivotal point for India's freedom struggle. It is with this declaration that India's national movement shifted from the language of charity to the language of justice. The Republic Day in the post-independence India. From 1930 till India finally won its independence in 1947, 26th of January was celebrated as an Independent Day or Poorna Swaraj Day. So up till 1949, 26th of January was celebrated as Independence Day or Poorna Swaraj Day, with Indians reaffirming their commitment towards the sovereignty on that day. However, India won independence from the British on 15th of August, exactly 2 years after the Japanese surrendered the Allies to end the World War II. As the historian Ramchandra Guha wrote, freedom finally came on a day that resonated with the imperial pride, rather than nationalistic sentiments. Thus, when the leaders had to decide on a day to promulgate India's new constitution, 26th of January was thought to be ideal. Not only did this date already holds the national significance, the constitution in many ways reflected the Poorna Swaraj Declaration. The constitution in many ways reflected the Poorna Swaraj Declaration of the 2 decades back. While today's Republic Day celebration are very different from what Poorna Swaraj Day looked like under the British Raj, 26 January remains a solemn reminder of the journey India took to attain self-rule. So thank you very much. Thank you.